Inflation driving women to suffer. Hello and welcome to One Mail. In this video, I will share the effect of inflation on women, what their reaction to this, and how they may use you due to their desperation. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel and like this video for more content like this. I saw a post on Going Your Own Way's forum by Fran that started me thinking about this. And here's what he has to say. If these women are looking at me, they must be desperate. I was unshaven and wore jeans, a t-shirt, and a 20-year-old bomber jacket. I looked exactly like the person on the street corner with the "I'm homeless. Any donations will help" sign. I just went to the supermarket and received two separate women's stares. Both seem post-wall in their mid to late 30s, but I'm pushing 60 and can pass for younger. Anyway, I know my life would be terrible with them. Therefore, I'm not interested. Even if they are still attractive, women get bitter after hitting the wall for young men. They'll make your life a living nightmare, and they're old enough to know all the methods to get their hands on your resources. So they're frigid than a witch's tits. Then I check out with the cashier, and she asks whether I have any plans for the day. I put her in her mid-20s, maybe a 5 or a 6 if she dolled herself up. So I interpret it as simply being polite or the boss telling employees to be excellent for the sake of the business. Just work, and you. I respond. She says nothing and that she'll be available later. I hypothesize that I parked my automobile in front of the store near the main window, and they must have noticed the excellent car. So, why is this guy Frank attracting attention at 60, even though he's dressed like a bomb? Well, we're already witnessing 6.7 year-over-year inflation in Canada and 8.5 in the United States, which implies that if the girl at the store gets a 2 rise over the last year, that's more than generous. She's getting a 6.5% wage cut. But we all know that inflation is considerably more significant, so she's getting a 10% pay cut or more. Furthermore, inflation is most likely at its highest level since January 1991. Back then, inflation caused a recession, and I believe we are currently in or about to enter one. The corporate media is spewing the inflation story everywhere you go, and people are getting afraid and overreacting by buying stocks to protect themselves. Recently, it's been items like oil and other commodities. Everyone assumes that inflation will continue for years and years, but no one asks how long it will endure. People are also becoming concerned as interest rates climb. If Macklin, Canada's chief central banker, claimed in 2020 that interest rates would not rise until the end of 2023 or 2024, he lied. Mortgage rates in Canada and the United States are rising, and I think bankers are more dangerous to your money than women. Increasing interest rates are making you poorer than poor ladies rushing in and trying to sweep up what's left of your riches with their Cooch Clown World show. The elites must always tell you a story you believe in for you to do what they want you to do. This makes you poor. They marketed the desirable narrative in early 2020 to persuade you to liquidate all your assets to protect yourself from deflation. Even as they turned on the money-printing machinery in the background, resulting in inflation, they did so by using the mainstream media as a spokesman. If individuals do not listen to the mainstream media, persuading them to purchase and sell stocks and other investments at inopportune periods becomes much more challenging, so that the elites can buy them up at the opportune times. The story has spread. Most males, including Frank, believe in rapid inflation. Remember that the wealthy do not acquire and sell financial assets. There is their spread and accumulation. They are either selling assets when prices rise or accumulating assets as prices fall. If any of you follow George Gammon, he predicts that we will soon have negative interest rates because the options market is flashing negative interest rates. All calls will burst upwards if interest rates are slashed due to a recession, because they are currently boosting interest rates. Financial markets typically telegraph the future 6 to 12 months in advance. So if you wait for anything to happen and then react trashly, the move that would have benefited you has already occurred, and you didn't take it. Thus, inflation will most likely be tamed in the next 6 to 12 months because there will be a recession, forcing central bankers to decrease interest rates even as the economy declines. As people struggle, the wealthy will buy up assets. Stocks will skyrocket in value because they are the most interest rate sensitive, but most people won't have enough money at that moment to back the truck up. I believe we will enter a recessionary phase in which individuals have less money in their pockets, but the money keeps buying more and more of them. We're going to transition from the current moment when individuals have more money in their pockets due to things like hot checks, but that money is buying less and less. So, why are people discussing this in financial circles online? I don't see how rising interest rates and destroying borrowing will reduce the money supply, because debt is money. It will not negatively influence the economy. Because of the midterm elections, the Fed needs to decrease inflation, but it does not need to raise interest rates to 5% or 10% to slow the economy. In addition to inflation, I'm guessing they're hoping that it changes consumer spending patterns sufficiently that people cut back on their spending, resulting in an overstock of products and services in the economy and deflation to balance the recent inflation. The Fed is willing to throw the upper and middle classes under the bus to reduce the cost of living for the poor, women, and immigrants who vote left. Guys like Frank should be monetarily penalized, while female cashiers and sales employees should be paid more. Yes, income inequality is a problem that destabilizes society. Still, the Democrats in power do not want everyone to become wealthy simultaneously, so they launch class conflict and destroy humanity. If I'm correct and nominal interest rates fall, you'll want to purchase Bitcoin in addition to tech companies because major tech and crypto have recently been associated. Some people asked me if Netflix was a good buy a few months ago, and I said no. And I was correct because it dropped 25% in one day. Recently, the issue has been too much competition from other streaming services. On top of that, unless you invest in monopolistic technological businesses, you will be a loser. So what have I been doing to generate money these days? I buy Amazon when the price drops by 2 or 3% and then wait for it to rise again, only 1% the next day, and then sell the shares at a higher price. I repeat this process several times a month and average 10 to 20% returns on my investment. If I buy those goods, it averages roughly $200, $300 per trading day. If the price falls, it is no considerable concern. I wait for it to recover and continue investing with other funds. I sold most of my dividend and value stocks months ago and plan to repurchase them once the recession hits and money flows back into big tech. I've also been dollar cost averaging into stuff like PayPal, Facebook, Shopify, and Match Group once I reach a positive balance. I usually sell that position and then use the proceeds for swimming trade or dollar cost average into something else. I'm still not in the black with those 4 equities, but I'm ahead on around 40 other stocks I bought and sold. Women in inflation are urgently looking at their lifestyles as they go down the drain. They are responding to the current economic realities by lowering their standards regarding men. As long as those men have money, a woman in her 20s will look at men in their 30s, 40s, and possibly even 50s because males their own age have no chance of buying a house at current prices unless rising interest rates crash the housing markets. At that point, most guys will be unable to qualify for a mortgage. So you lose money if you bet on heads and if you bet on tails because of the bank steps. I also believe that extensive tech censorship will worsen in the future as the lamestream media audience disappears and most investors turn to online finance experts like Anthony Pompliano and George Gammon for advice. They may begin censoring business pundits interfering with their ability to control markets. They may state that you require a license to be a financial advisor or something similar. But this is not always the case because many online business folks need to talk about inflation right now to acquire more views. They're looking for clicks. And as long as the Wall Street story provides them with clicks, they'll discuss financial issues that will monetarily harm their viewers. On the other hand, women don't usually care about such matters as they become older. They want a man to worry about such things. For them contribute to the fact that more guys than ever are going their own way. I wouldn't be shocked if the age gap between couples increased in the future. It wouldn't surprise me if younger ladies went out there looking for gentlemen with elderly sick parents who will leave a large estate to their sons, and they should start targeting them. I discussed a particular chapter by Dr. B. Real and how he went on to explain why these modern women are now going to the extremes. Together, let's dive a bit more into their minds and how they think this way. If you're interested about this topic, be sure to check out my previous video.